you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry, a bit disheveled. It's really humid here, so I look like the Lion King that just went through the washing machine. I'm sorry.
What's that? I don't know.
Brilliant.
Oh, how have you been? How's everything going?
Very good. The weather has improved so much that, although it's humid, that I'm feeling much better because I was going through a bit of a sad because of the constant rain that we had for 4 months, and it's amazing how that impacts your mental health so much. So I had to really implement everything I know to stay on track, and it's amazing, like those challenges that come at you in life, you know. And how's it going in Arizona? Here is not as warm as it should be at this time.
Yeah, it's a little cold, but the citrus is really good. I've been foraging a ton,
I saw.
and yeah, I got some time. I think you saw that I was up north in Sedona where it snows, and that was really fun. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a great time of year. Like it gets cold, but it doesn't get super cold. So
Yeah, indeed.
yeah. So tell us where you are, because I think a lot of people have no idea who you are and where you're at. And have we done
Sure.
it before or not? Or I can't even remember.
No, we never did a live. You were on my podcast, but we never did a live before, so this is pretty cool.
Okay. Okay. So Chantal, tell everybody a little bit about you
Sure.
and where you are, and we should tell the story of how we got introduced to each other. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
go fire away.
Okay, so I'm a holistic nutritionist, health coach, and yoga teacher. And right now I live in Northern Portugal. Everybody knows Portugal. A lot of Americans are moving here. They're clever and they're going down south where it's sunny. I kind of ended up here in the north where it's not so sunny. In summer it's brilliant though. Actually, from March onwards it's fantastic. But I was a banker actually in London, and I used to work for JP Morgan, and I absolutely did not like working in banking, and my passion has always been in health. And because of my journey from eating disorders, I had anorexia when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. I then had a very disorderly relationship with food. I kind of really got interested in nutrition and trying to kind of heal my relationship with food through nutrition, which really helped. But at the same time, I had to heal a lot of other stuff. So this is where the more spiritual things come in, like the esoteric and like really working on yourself, the psychology. And I kind of felt in love with food and myself when I went plant-based. So magically, when I went plant-based in 2013, my relationship with food kind of healed, because I was just I just didn't hate the food. I don't know what it was, this energetic shift that happens. And I'm going through another cycle now where I'm getting more and more into living food instead of just plant-based. And probably obviously you can relate to that because you healed yourself with autoimmune with raw living food. And it's amazing what I'm finding that it does for me. So I'm going through the cycle now and absolutely loving it. So we now live in Northern Portugal, which is a beautiful part of Portugal actually. And because it rains a lot in the winter, we have a very lush nature throughout the year. So even in summer, it's not like a toast. It's actually beautiful and green, and it's a joy to be in nature. So yeah, this is where we are now. Hey, Perry.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about Portugal, but I hear really good things about the fruit in Spain, and I'm sure it's the same kind of climate. So
Yeah, I mean, again, the big countries. Spain is much bigger than Portugal, but it stretches quite long. And I know when we were in London, everybody was like, you should go to a warm country. Portugal is great. They just failed to tell you that Northern Portugal and Southern Portugal have very different climates. So the South is what everybody thinks Spain and Portugal are like, sunny and beaches and warm Mediterranean Sea. But the moment you go towards the West Coast into the Atlantic, we're starting to get microclimates, which are colder in winter. The ocean is obviously cold, but it's brilliant to surf in. And then, it's not as like Mediterranean anymore. We really didn't do our homework very well in terms of that part. But again, I'm happy that we actually are north because water is abundant. And for what we wanted to do, which was regenerative agriculture, this weather is better than being in the south, where water can be a challenge. And we had a few droughts here in Portugal up to this winter where it got a lot of water. So there is a lot of stuff that you have to consider, but it's a beautiful country. In fact, a lot of Americans are moving here. Lisbon is like a merger of New York, LA, San Francisco, everything.
Well, okay. Hey, you mentioned regenerative agriculture. Are you like growing, what are you growing?
Right now, being winter, we're growing a lot of cabbage. There's cabbage for Africa here. So we are having a lot of cabbage and like broccoli, and we have a kale, and we're just prepping now to like to put the seeds for the next season, which is going to be much more abundant, a lot of more different kind of crops, cauliflowers. The summer is obviously way better. You can get so much variety, but now that's what we're focusing on, more of like the cabbages, which is great. They don't juice so nicely without fruit, but it's really good.
Yeah, I've heard that. So hey, I know that you have this big health retreat coming up, and you told me about it, and I was like, wow, I would really want to go, but I can't make it. But it sounds really like it would sound like an event that I would want to go to. So I'd love to have you share a little bit about what it is, when it is, where it is, and all that.
I can tell you. Absolutely. So, yeah, I would love to have you here. So we have to work on something for the next time. But this time around, the retreat is happening 5th to 10th of May, and it's a whole-inclusive luxury retreat. And I'm partnering up with this beautiful period palace called Hotel Passo Vittorino, which is actually a manor. It's called a palazzetto here, like a small palace that belongs to an aristocratic family that got the properties back after Salazar was kicked out, because this country had dictatorship up to 60 years ago, so not really long out of dictatorship. So the family got this property back, which was in ruins, of course, and in the 1800s it was used as a military base, and they have revamped the whole place, brought it back to its former glory. And so you can see all the details, like the original stone has been cleaned out. The gardens are beautiful. There's like a Baroque garden that is a view that is to live for. It faces the river, so there is a lot of, it's very quiet. There's fields with cows and sheep. It's beautiful. And the rooms are set up really in the original kind of furniture that they could recuperate. And so very, very tasteful, beautifully luxurious. And the outside are like, they've been made as barns, like rooms like the barns, very high ceiling, all wood. I mean, they are fantastic. So already the location is super magical, and I always wanted to do it there. I actually got married there, so I fell in love with the place when I did. And I love it. It's such a beautiful place.
It's in Portugal. Where is it? Because we're
in northern Portugal. So it's in Ponte de Lima, which is 45 minutes from Porto. And Porto has an international airport, which is Oporto. And so it's easy, it's really easy. And we organize everything. We organize also the transport and pickups. So the whole package includes transfers, all the meals, which are, of course, plant-based, fully plant-based, vegan, and also a lot of raw living foods. We have a lot of, we created a program that is all about soothing the person and bringing health forward. And we don't want to be like other retreats where, like, you know, I've done yoga retreats before where like people come and they eat a great food and they do yoga, but they don't learn anything. In this program, we actually have experts joining me that are sharing what they're really good at. So I'm going to talk about them in a second. But it's also about basically explaining to people how to feel good. So before people come, when they book, we also ask them to take a blood test so they can send it over. We have a functional doctor joining us who will review the blood test, and so that they can have a one-to-one conversation with the doctor and see what's going on and what they can do better. We have a nutritionist actually joining us from the US, Lauren Plunkett, who is an expert in metabolic health. She has type 1 diabetes and thrives on it on a plant-based diet. The same food that when she discovered that she had type 1 diabetes, the doctors told her she couldn't eat. We're talking fruits, of course, vegetables. She kind of transformed that when she learned. She became a dietitian, and now she thrives on that food. So explaining to people, actually, these foods are really good for us. That's what we are meant to eat to be healthy, and that we shouldn't be afraid of that. So I'm very, very excited to have her on, because she can explain very well. And she's also doing some workshops about the energetics of food in relations to chakras and the organs that are related to the chakras, which I think is amazing, right? So we have her coming on board, and then we're offering, obviously, yoga every day. So with me in the morning is more active. It's like a HIIT yoga class with breath work, and then in the evening we have yin yoga with sound bowl healing, like a group nice sound therapy. And people also get a one-to-one attuning is called, so they get the attuning of frequency with the sound bowl, one-to-one session with our therapist. We have massages for everybody with an aromatherapist, and they get a special blend for their needs. We have an osteopath that is coming on board, so this is very aligned to your wonderful practice as well. So I really believe everybody needs to be aligned, because I go every month and I'm always like a rib up, a rib down. So I really believe that's really good. And then we have, of course, the beautiful food. So 3 meals a day, and it's all about bountiful plants. We are going to really invest in organic and local, as much as possible local. And we really just want to offer people the opportunity to understand that food is life when it's living, right? Instead of having death on our plates, which seem that a lot of us do.
Awesome. I mean, this just sounds, I've heard about some retreats, but this one sounds, and I've been to some great ones, and this one just sounds like, people are going to just have such an immersive experience. What are you hoping that they come away with, or what can people expect to see as far as like a shift in their own life walking away from a retreat like this?
Yeah. Great question. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I did retreats that were amazing, and they were just retreats that kind of were not so personal. In this, I really want to have people walking away knowing that they're completely held and they learned something that is applicable. So one of the things we also offer is, after the retreat, if they have any question about what we suggest for diet and lifestyle, they can get in touch and we'll still support them. So that's included as well. But I want them to basically walk away with a sense of empowerment, that they understand that this dieting mentality needs to go, and that they actually can nourish their bodies, understand what their bodies love, because of course everybody's different. Some things might work for another and not, but it's more tweaks really, and really support them in doing that. So walking away with, wow, I can do this, it's a plan, and not just, going away, I'm like, okay, well, tomorrow I'm gonna, I don't even know what I'm gonna eat, but actually, because we give them so much material and so much resources to actually be like, okay, when I go home, I know exactly what I need to do. That's what I want people to walk out with,
Awesome. And I meant to ask this earlier, but is there a link in your bio for people to check it out?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'll make sure I'll get that link, and we'll put this video up on YouTube and Rumble too, just so we can get it out there and let people know. This sounds like, man, this is like, I've been thinking about doing my own event like this, but obviously it's a heck of a lot of work. Yeah. A lot of work to do it. So I commend you. What inspired you to want to put something like this on?
So I did a couple of retreats before the pandemic, and I don't want to get us flagged. So that thing, and basically I really saw how beneficial it is for people. And as I said, it wasn't as curated as this one has been. This has been a really work of labor. But basically in 2020 we had full schedule of retreats, and we were really going towards these health retreats more than just yoga retreats, but we had to cancel everything. And I've seen people's health deteriorating in the past 2 years. I mean, some of them got healthier, but a lot of people, though, my clients especially, they just let go. And I had to kind of pick them up even over our Zoom sessions to be like, okay, we can do this, get healthier. And I thought, I want to offer a space that really can boost people and make them really feel like they own this and they can be healthy and they are in control of their health, because our health is our wealth. You can have a ton of money. Without our health, we are nothing, because you don't have the energy to do anything. Your mental health is affected. So I really wanted to bring this to a next level, and that inspired me. Like the last 2 years, or 3 years almost, of this nonsense, I thought, that's it. When everything is done, when we are ready to go again, I am going to put all my energy in giving people the power. somehow. So, you know, it's what you're doing, which is what I love. And just connecting with people like you, this is really inspiration, you know, like the way that we can all do and bring it together. As I say, it's a lot of work, but it's worth every second. Like, I just love the ideas I'm coming up with. I'm training a local chef to, you know, to cook the food and to prepare the food the way that we want it, so we don't use any oils, which of course here is strange because like they go olive oil, blah, 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 blah. And so I had to actually explain that we can cook amazing food without oil, and really just empowering also the locals to learn new things. So one of the things I wanted to do was to have the local team also engaged. So the cook is local instead of getting somebody from Lisbon or the UK. And also because I feel like doing something like this can bring something back also to the community, because here, I don't know if you know, but Portugal is a country that is very hip and very trendy, but the locals get crappy salaries. So supporting them as well by doing this, I think is such a nice thing to do, you know, like awesome. And then there's also another component to this retreat. Everything that I personally make after paying everybody is gonna go towards a sanctuary idea. So I keep on rescuing dogs because they just appear out of nowhere, especially this time of the year because of the bloody hunters. And so I kind of want to open a sanctuary and really help these animals, because that's my calling. But of course, I only have so much space. Even if we have a farm, I'm only one person, and looking after dogs is quite intense. So I really want to actually open a proper foundation to help them out. So there is an extra bonus to this.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, real excited for you. And actually, I just thought of someone that I was asking me for help a while back, who's in Portugal, who I have to introduce you to, because I think
I would love that. Please.
Anything else you want to share about the event?
Well, it's obviously everything is on my website, and you can check like the packages. But if people actually book before the end of January, before January 31st, we have 10% off. But then if they come through you and they say, Dr. Ben, we give them immediately €100 off as well. So that's yeah. So they get a little bit of bonus, a little bit of help, and yeah, it's just a fabulous event, and I think it's one in a lifetime thing that I'm just starting here. And you know, as I said, like I want to do more of those, because these health wellness retreats properly cater to people's well-being are fantastic. So I would love, maybe we can talk about you coming over and doing one with me, because you know, talking about autoimmune disease also would be an amazing thing to do for people eventually, you know.
I've actually never been to Europe, really. I went to Israel once, plane stop in Germany for about an hour, and that's all I got. So yeah.
Yeah, you have to come and see. So we can tell people how we met, because that was really cool.
Oh yeah, sure. And it's funny because it's a mutual friend of ours that I went to high school with, you went to college with. And I'll just tell you, I keep in touch with almost nobody from high school or college. And it's funny. So Stacy is her name, and I think like we followed each other on social media, and then we quickly realized that like all our high school friends, we were the only two that had the same opinion about the whole, you know, things that happened starting in 2020. And so we reconnected more, and then yeah, she was like, well, you have to meet Chantal, because she is like very similar minded. So this has been awesome.
Yeah, I know. I really love that we connected, and of course our interview was so awesome, and we should probably actually post it again, because that interview was great. But it's, you know, what you do is really empowering, and when she told me about you, I was so happy, because like you, I don't have a lot of connections even to people from university, but with Stacy I actually kept up with, and she even came to my wedding, so she actually has been to the hotel. So she saw it. Yeah, so she can vouch for how beautiful it is. And basically she just said, you have to meet Ben, like he's amazing, and you have to have him on your podcast. And I'm so happy that she shared that, because I love that episode and what you do for people. Because I mean, I hear it every day, even from clients that just have been told, oh, I have an autoimmune disease and there's nothing I can do about it but suppress my immune system. I'm like, no, do not do that. Oh my.
Awesome. Well, hey, I wish you the best. Let's get stuff together so that we can put an email out to my list. And I think I have a few like like I know the guy who runs the UK Fruit Festival really well. I'll see if we can, you connected with him and just, get some more PR for this event because, I think it's going to be really powerful, and I hate for people to miss out. So,
thank you so much. I really appreciate you and appreciate your work. Thanks, and for your help as well.
All right. Well, awesome. Let's stay in touch, and
Bye, everyone.
All right.
Bye.